All right, good morning, everyone. Don't mind the awkward pause. You know, we have to do those thumbnails for the videos for Instagram. So, hi, everyone. I am Dr. Vernita Glenn White. I go by Dr. V, life and empowerment strategist, college professor, consultant, author, speaker, all those great things that I do. And what I'm doing, especially here for this month, I am talking about building brilliance awareness. And this is day 16. This is day 16. Hi. So I am excited about this topic today. And it is talking about the fear of failure. Why do we have it? Why do we let it stop us? So I've been doing some thinking about that. And I was just having a discussion about fear and how fear is just an emotion like everything else. But we don't treat it like it's an emotion like everything else. We give it so much power. And I say we because I do that in other areas of my life as well. So fear, I'm not going to get into, because I've learned so much about actual fear, but I'm going to talk about the fear of failure. And I want to talk about, if we did not fear failure, what would we do? Because we know what we haven't done because of fear, but we don't talk about if we didn't if we didn't fear failure, what would we do? And as high achievers, especially those of us who've been educationally trained, I did some thinking. It's like, where does this come from? And fear of failure has been attached to a certain outcome. If you're a high achiever, top performer, well, I'm not going to say all of them. Because there are some people who almost flunked out of school, but they are also brilliant as well. But those of us who are attached to the grades, committed to the grades, want the A's, all of that. And as a college professor, my students are like that. They don't care if they didn't learn anything, but they want that grade. They want that A. They freak out for a B for most of them. Some of them are just happy to get a C- because they can keep it moving. But when we were growing up, and just the group of us that have been afraid to, those of us who have been afraid of failure, it started, in my opinion, and when I'm thinking back, for our attachments to grades, because it was like, you have to get a good grade, you have to get a good grade. Not that you have to get all the knowledge, not that you have to understand what's happening, but all of the grades, you have to get an A, maybe a B, but definitely A's and B's, no F's. So when we were going through school, it was like, okay, I have to get this right, I have to get this right. And then don't let the teacher say, or the professor, because this goes all the way up to college, don't let the teacher or professor say, oh, you didn't do a good job, you're not going to get a good grade. And we make that about ourselves, right? We make that about ourselves. So when we were in school, thank you, yes, commitments. I told y'all on one of them, somebody called me out, so I had to make sure I stay committed and focused. But when we're in school, we are attached to the outcome, and then certain things that may have happened to that outcome. So if it was something with the grade, either we made that about ourselves, that we're not smart enough. Maybe our parents or guardians looked at us like, what did you do? You're not doing your best. All of those things. So the reason why I talk about high achievers and building brilliance is because sometimes we've transferred that feeling, that knowledge to our real lives. And I don't really think it's how can I say this? It's not so much that we have a fear of failure. I think it's because we've attached ourselves to a certain outcome, because we've all failed at things. When a lot of us have these higher degrees, we had to fail at something. Like maybe we didn't get into the first school of our choice. Maybe we didn't get a certain grant or a certain research article or something. We failed at something in life, but there's something when we attach it to an outcome, we let it stop us, right? So for an example, and I'm trying to think of a good one. I know we're not afraid of failing everything. It's just certain things. And like I said, it's really attached to the outcome. So I had to start thinking, like, how can I get over this? How can I detach myself from an outcome enough to make sure I push past that fear of failure? Because I know I failed at things before. So what is the difference between me not launching a program, me not launching a service, me not writing this book, me not I don't know, changing careers or anything like that. Something that is stopping you now, what is it? And you may translate that to feel a fear of failure. What if this happens, but you failed at something before? So what is it? So I had to detach myself from a certain outcome. I think that's step number one. I'm going to say yes, that's step one. Detach yourself from an outcome. Because when I started my e-commerce business, I just did it. I was like, oh, okay, that looks cool. That looks great. And it's something brand new. But I didn't attach myself to the outcome of, well, what if no one buys any products from me? What if people have all these questions about why is she doing this when she said she was going to do that, right? I just did it anyway. But now is when it's time for me to launch a new service or have VIP clients that I truly desire. Then it's like, why haven't you rolled that out yet? Because I've been attached to the outcome. Okay, so that's the first thing. So detach yourself from the outcome. The second thing, and I learned this during some mindset work, is if you think about fear as just another emotion, because we give it so much power. Yes, we need it. Yes, it keeps us safe. Yes, it keeps us in line, but it shouldn't stop us. Fear should allow us to say, hey, you need to prepare for something, or you don't have all of the answers. Not saying that you need all of the answers to make the next step, but fear keeps us in check. And I probably need to do another thing on that of why about fear, because I've learned some really deep things about that. But anyway, so fear is an emotion. I learned this, and this blew my mind, and I have to keep remembering this. Fear is the same as excitement. If you think about what happens when you are afraid. So for me, my heart starts pumping, my hands get sweaty. I kind of shut down a little bit, kind of lean back, and it's like, okay, I freeze up, I tense up. That's what happens to me when I have fear. But excitement is the same thing. So when I heard that fear and excitement have the same emotions, blew my mind, right? And I have to remember that as I keep taking steps in my life. So what do I mean by that? If you have ever been to theme parks, I love theme parks. I love going on roller coasters. I love thrill. That's why I'm like, why are you afraid to do certain things when you've been out here doing some craziness adventure-wise, right? Zip lining and all of that. So I love roller coasters, and we know that feeling like, everything's cool. We get in line. Okay. Then, we see the line moving, your heart starts beating a little bit. And then and then like, it's your turn. When you're next, you see the car go off, and it's like, okay, the one's coming back in, the people are getting off, it's your turn. Your hands start sweating. Well, I do. So think about how you feel when you do that. So my heart starts beating, all these thoughts go in my head. What if the car goes off the tracks? All of these things, but guess what? We still get on there. And me and my sister, we be front row. We are those people like, no, we'll wait extra so we can get on the front row. And I don't know if you remember, in Tampa, there was a ride. I can't think of the name, but it was a roller coaster, and it went and it sat just like this for a minute. And I think it was like a 90, maybe it wasn't quite 90-degree drop. But anyway, it was enough for me to see just tracks, right? And just sitting up there, I could have been like, what if we fall out? What if all of these things? But I was so excited. So fear, happy, same emotions. My heart starts beating. My hands were sweating. My head starts spinning. But guess what? I'm having the time of my life at that point. Fear and excitement, same feelings, same emotions. Went on that roller coaster, and guess what? We didn't die. Had the best time of our lives. So what if we attached whatever we're afraid of, and we're saying, oh my gosh, it's a fear of failure, it's a fear of launching that program, it's a fear of writing that book, it's a fear of speaking, it's a fear of whatever. How about we say, I'm excited? And yes, you're going to have to retrain your mind. And sometimes as high achievers, especially speaking for myself, we think that we're supposed to get it the first time. We'll give ourselves a grace period and say, okay, 2. But you want me to keep doing it until I get it? We're not used to that. So because that's how we've been conditioned. We were the smart kids. We were the bright stars. We were the ones who got it and moved on, or we didn't get it. We didn't let anybody else know. And we made sure that we did whatever we need to do behind the scenes to keep up that image. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So with personal development or anything with self-growth, it takes time. You have to keep doing it. And I told you all, when I first started this journey of really digging deep and learning who I am and my personal development journey, I treat it like it was another course. All right, let me just go through this. Let me go through these exercises. All of those exercises I told you all about building up to this day, I would go through them like, check, I did it. Check, I did it. Oh, I did my mirror exercise. Oh, I did my expose the lies. But when another situation happened, I just fell apart because I thought it was a one and done, and it's not. So we have to detach ourselves from that aspect of our brilliance. Like, it's okay if we failed at something. That just means we have to do something again and maybe approach it in a different way. So instead of saying I am afraid, you say I'm excited. I'm excited that I get to write a book. And you feel that. Because the reason why you have to sit with it and feel it is because when you are afraid or when fear comes up, your body reacts to that and then it stops you. So if you say that I am excited, you still have to sit there and feel that emotion. So your body say, oh, we are safe for us to feel this way so we can move on to do the thing that we said we were afraid to do. I hope that makes sense. So when I had to write, when I wrote my second book, it was like on a whim, right? It was like, okay, I'll do it. Let's get it done. And it didn't take me long to write it. But when it was time for me to publish it and say that I wanted to hit a #1 on Amazon, the fear set in. It's like, well, what if no one buys it? What if no one likes it? And all of these things. So I had to sit literally for days, y'all. Like days I had to sit and meditate and process. I'm excited that I'm #1. I'm excited that so many people are reading my book. I'm so excited that it's going to help somebody. Until I felt that in my cells, like down to my DNA. I'm getting goosebumps like literally right now. And I had to make sure like, hey, we're excited. We get to launch this. And then it propelled me forward to do all the things I needed to do. And I did hit #1. So even me knowing that it worked, when it's time to do a new venture or launch a program or say I want to do VIP and then it's going to cost this much, I still have to sit there and say, people want my service. There are people out there who will pay for this. There are women that I can touch all over the world. I'm excited that I have this knowledge to be able to share and communicate with them. So, and guess what? I detach myself from the outcome. If I put it out there and no one gets it on that day or the second day, guess what? It doesn't matter because I'm excited that I was able to push past that and put it out there. So I want to know, what are you allowing fear of failure to stop you from doing? So what if you had to think about what if you could not fail? And the reason why earlier I brought up when we were little kids, we didn't have this problem. We did anything, everything, didn't matter, right? But sometimes like when we got to school, and me personally, I bring this back to school, the moment that we did our best and somebody said this wasn't good, we made that about ourselves. And it was like, oh my gosh, I can't fail ever again in my life. People are going to think I'm dumb. People are going to think I'm not bright. What are they going to think about me? And that has carried on subconsciously for many of us who are high achievers. That has carried on subconsciously. And we're not afraid. I went and got my PhD on a whim. Clearly, I'm not afraid. I didn't research no schools. I didn't look at what was the best major, or I didn't do any of that. I was like, it's a school down the street from me. Let's go and see what happens. And I quit my job, like a career, not like a regular job. I quit a whole career, went jobless, all of that. So clearly I'm not afraid. And the reason why I was able to do that, because I detached myself from the outcome. I was like, let's just see what happens. But the moment that I focused so much on the outcome, I allowed the fear of failure to stop me. So yes, Dr. B, we have to sit in that feeling. So that's what I want to know from you. What would you do if you knew you could not fail? And we have the potential literally to change the world. And I know it sounds cliche, but I believe in building brilliance awareness, especially those of us who have those of us who have been educationally trained with all of these degrees and knowledge and all of that, or if you were able to advance in a corporation, up multiple ranks, we have specialized skill sets. So we have specialized skill sets and gifts and talents that we were already born with. What if we combine those two and really let all of that show and push forward? What would the world look like? What would your state look like? What would your city look like? What would your community look like? What would your family look like? What would you look like if you detached yourself from the fear of failure and just did it anyway, right? So to recap, because we have to talk about our morning routine. To recap, I'm not going to say don't be afraid. I'm not going to say get over fear. And I used to say that, but then it was like, no, fear is a part of everything that we do. Fear is an emotion. We need it just like love, happiness, joy, but we put so much emphasis on fear. So if you translate fear to excitement, you'll be surprised of what you will actually do in life. But all of my high achievers is not a one and done. So if you haven't done the thing, that means you're still focusing on fear, or your mind is still back there on fear. So you have to keep saying that you're excited to feel it until you do the thing. You're not dumb. You're not slow. No one's going to say anything about you. If you don't get it the first time, we have to say whatever, people. No one's going to look, especially those of us who are credentialed. No one's going to take your credentials away. No one's going to take your title away or anything like that if you have to keep doing it, right? So that's all I have for you on that part. Let me know in the comments. You'll see the self-work come up later. Let me know if you circle back around. What would you do if you knew you wouldn't fail? I would open up multiple youth centers and academic centers and have a cool name for it. I would do that. I'm going to do that. How about that? I'm excited to do that, right? All right, so that's all I have for you on that. The second part is, in order for you to be able to do the great things, you have to take care of your body inside and out. One way, of course, is to do movement and exercise and eat right. But then sometimes we need a little help. And for me, I've also needed a little help to get myself back in optimum shape, because I used to be in really good shape. Somewhere down the line it fell off. So I'm like, no, you know how to do this. So get it together. So what I do in the morning, every morning, and sometimes you've probably seen this, I just added this one. This is a probiotic from my e-commerce business. And we all need probiotics, some form, because our gut health. The gut is like the brain of our bodies. If you're not feeling well, if you find yourself having a lot of headaches or you're sluggish, sometimes it could mean that you're a little backed up. So get a probiotic and get things to move so that brilliance can come out. Because if the brilliance isn't coming out, that means something is blocking it. And sometimes it's not always mental, it's physical. So I take this probiotic in the morning. I started this, I think my shipment came in March 10th. So it's a 30-day supply. It really does taste like candy. And it works. Things move. That's all I'm going to say about that. The second thing I do is I take liquid collagen. And a lot of us already know about collagen. We know about the powdered collagen. And we mix it in our smoothies, or we mix it in our coffees and things like that. But it's already broken down, and it only gets absorbed maybe like at 30%. And if we mix it with something, maybe it drops down to like 15, 20%. But if you know anything about liquid supplements, they work faster or better because they get to your bloodstream and your organs a lot faster. And taking a good probiotic or helping your systems, like cleaning out your systems, that allows the supplements or any supplements to get to your system faster because you've been cleared, right? So I take this liquid collagen. Oh, don't spill. This is Skin. It's the highest grade of liquid collagen in the world. There are 4 different types. I won't get into all of them, but there are different types. You can message me if you want to know about the different types. And the reason why this is important, because some of us, and this could be minor. This may not be you. Maybe it was me. I used to be afraid to be on camera. Yeah, I'm not even going to go there. But one reason is that I used to have like bad acne and things like that. So a lot of things stopped me because I was thinking about how I looked. And that's on a superficial level, but it was just like, if you don't feel good about yourself, if you don't feel confident about yourself, you're not going to show up how you want to show up. So if you are having any kind of skin issues, or you just want to improve your skin, especially if you're getting older, we're all getting older, collagen is a good way to improve that. Especially this one is formulated especially for hair, skin, and nails. But even if you didn't do that one, you want to make sure that you're feeling your best self. Look at all the areas of your life to see why aren't you showing up. And something could be so minor is about just your skin. And again, you don't have to have on full makeup or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But you want to get to a point where you're confident in yourself to show up how you want to. And one way to do that is maybe start taking some liquid collagen. And then the other thing that I do is this fat burning pudding, which has saved me through my laziness. I'm not lazy anymore because I've committed to doing 25 miles by the end of the month. So this is liquid fat burning pudding. It is also collagen infused, and everything is a tablespoon. This is lemon, and it tastes like lemon meringue pie. This is my second bottle, and some people say it's a 30-day supply. I'd say it's about 5.5 weeks, but it inhibits fat storage and improves muscle tone, and I already said that it has collagen in it. And I can see a difference. I feel a difference in my body, and I feel things like shrinking and literally melting away by taking this. And it's not magic, so I'm not going to tell you that, hey, you just take this and everything's going to fall off. You still need to do your part, but even when I wasn't 100% focused, or even 75% focused on what I need to do, especially like eating right or moving, I still saw results. So that's what I love about these products and supplements. I still need to do my part, but even when I slack off, they do their job, right? So I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to share with you. All right, so message me if you want to know more about that. Again, let me know about your comments on what would you do if you knew you could not fail, and anything else that you learned from our little time together. All right, so thank you so much for joining me this morning. If you're watching the replay, thank you for that, and enjoy your day. Go be brilliant. I am Dr. V, and thank you for listening and learning with me. I will see you next time. Bye.